What's going on, guys? Um, gonna break down today's game really quick. The first lesson that I learned yesterday, I think this lesson is gonna be huge as far as moving forward and winning for the rest of the regular season. And I'm pretty sure once the playoff roll around, we're gonna win like crazy. But the first thing that I want to mention is the six times value is very legit, but and something that I have not been incorporating as much as I should, and I learned a lot from this 300-point lineup is I guess DVP, what people call it, or the defense versus certain positions, right? Now I made lineups that were decent. We got some 250 and some 256, but the best lineup I made during the show really targeted weak areas of the opposing defense, right? Dennis Schroeder went up against Phoenix. We know that's a juicy matchup, right? Brook Lopez against Philly, juicy matchup. We had that down pat. Tyler Eulis versus Atlanta, juicy matchup. So it's something that I realized that I don't pay enough emphasis. Now I always attack Schroeder, but Schroeder is not the only good defensive opportunity in the NBA, and I don't feel like I put enough emphasis on the defense that certain guys are going up against, right? So not only am I going to stick within the six times consistency, but I got to look at um, the defense, and then it's almost impossible to have a successful lineup up until lock. I'm gonna give it a shot right now and kind of make a generic lineup, but injury news is the next thing that has to be considered. All right, when that news came out that Rodriguez will be out, immediately I went to Nick Stauskas. When the news came out that um, what's this guy's name? Booker was gonna be out for Phoenix, I immediately paired Eulis and Warren together. So those are last minute stuff that is very important when making lineups as well. So it's hard to make a lineup this early, but when those last minute news come out with guys in perfect positions, you have to take advantage of it. And that's what we're gonna do tonight, okay? So I'm gonna get right into the lineup. The first game, Atlanta versus Philly. And if I'm gonna stick to my word, you would think that I would want Dwight Howard in, right? Now, Dwight Howard versus Brook Lopez last night. Dwight Howard is not really the go-to guy. He's really struggling without Millsap because teams can zone into him on the interior. They don't have to worry about a power forward that much. And I'm just not too confident in Dwight Howard tonight. I know it's the perfect position and we want to consider that, but the reason I'm not confident is because I pretty much got my two centers that I want for tonight locked in, okay? I want Rudy Gobert is killing right now in a good matchup. I got him locked in. I'm gonna get to him, but I'm just making a case why I'm not really big on Dwight Howard. Then it's a toss up between Al Horford and DeAndre Jordan, right? Al Horford is averaging 40 in the last 10 games. That's pretty much what we need from him. It's a good matchup for him, but there's so many choices on that team. I'm leaning towards DeAndre Jordan against Washington. Washington also gives it up a lot to centers. They are coming off of a back to back. They're on the road. He already dropped 40 on this team, and I feel like he has more upside. He got 50-point upside. He did twice in the last 10 games. Hasn't done it in a while, so I would like to think that he's due for one of those. It's not going to be a blowout game against Washington. Washington really pushed the pedal to the metal. If anything, Washington might blow out the Clippers, but I'm not going to bank on that. Washington likes to take a lot of shots. They attack the basket a lot. I think that's going to open up a lot of rebounds. He already had 17 rebounds in the last game. So I see him having a 20-20 game here tonight. Love DeAndre Jordan tonight. So those are my two centers. I really can't get to Dwight Howard in this game, but this is the ideal spot for him. Teams are just killing them inside. He's played 3 games against this team. He's only putting up 29. So that's to prove my point. It's just not the matchup for him. And if his price was like 6-9 equivalent to DeAndre Jordan, without a doubt, I'm gonna take Dwight Howard. But to be almost 8K, he pretty much in these upper 40s. And Phoenix and Brooklyn are superb matchup for centers as well. And mid 40s is where he is. So he's not really exceeding expectation. He's coming off of a back to back. That's my rationale for staying away from Dwight Howard. In this game, though, we know that Serge Rodriguez is going to be out. So that leaves TJ McConnell again at the only point guard spot in a matchup against Schroeder, which I love to attack. I would be very, very. It'll be negligence for me not to get McConnell tonight. You gotta have T.J. McConnell. He's like a must play for me tonight. Last night in a similar good matchup against the Bulls, he shot the ball very poorly. All right, but he had enough assists, and with 2 more points, he would have had a double double. He'd have been in the upper 30s, 7 times value, and I think he'll hit 7 times value against Schroeder tonight. Um, I think Jeremy Lin makes Brooklyn defense at the two guard a little better, a little bit than before when he was out. So I like McConnell, love McConnell. All right, on the Philly side, um, and then Stauskas is still interesting. I'm just a little bit afraid because I was expecting 6 times value last night. He played 33 minutes against Brooklyn, and only gave us 21. So I don't know about. And then TLC went off. I think that's kind of fake. He had 9 rebounds. I don't think he's gonna have 9 rebounds tonight. Not excited to play TLC. In 10 minutes, he put up 6 points against this team. I don't think he'll repeat. It was just a miss from last night. Um, Covington went off last night. Bazemore is gonna be back, and he needs 40s again on a back to back. He just played 40 minutes. I don't really trust Covington tonight. Not for that price, right? But he's someone to consider. No, he's not consistent enough. I'm not even going to waste time and go there. Justin Anderson did well. Now, Justin Anderson, I like again tonight. To be honest, if all those guys are going to be out again, if Okafor, so it's Okafor, Sergio Rodriguez. If Joe Henderson plays, then I'll stay off of um Justin Anderson. But it looks like Henderson will play, and it was a back to back, and they wanted to give him one night off. So I'm going to stay away from Justin Anderson. And Sean Long disappointed us. I'm not gonna pick on him. His price is going up because his ownership has been up. Rashawn Holmes needs mid 30s, and he's really struggling as well. So I'm off of that. On the Atlanta side, Shooter's in a good spot, but he's just too expensive, right? And we already got some big names on the board. Last night he went off for 48. We need pretty much that same amount tonight. And the matchup is there for him, okay? This is a stackable game right here, guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's just that both teams on the back to back. I think it's gonna be a lot of life missing in that game. I'd rather get some players with fresh legs, right? Tim Hardaway Jr. has been very disappointing. He put up a 9 bomb last night, cost a lot of people money. He reminded me of Kyrie Irving the other night. I'm happy I was able to dodge that. Torian Prince Bazemore will be back, so we want to stay away from him and Bazemore for all that. Ersan Ilyasova, this is a revenge game for him. Okay, so that makes me interested very much so. He already went to Philly and put up a point per minute off the bench, but I think he double doubles in this one. I think he'll get I think he's gonna have a similar stat line to last night in the similar pace matchup in a revenge game where he's pretty pissed off that they gave up on him, similar to Nurkic last night. So what Nurkic had fresh legs, so I'm not really excited to say it's similar, but he played 33 minutes. Millsap is still out. They really don't have too much options but to play him. And the Philadelphia 76ers give up a lot of points to these forward center positions. So I'm going to go ahead and pick on some Ersan Ilyasova based on that fact. All right. Now, as far as 6 times value, McConnell has done it 2 out of the last 3 times. Ersan has done it back to back games in the 30s. He's fine. Gobert has exceeded it. He's averaging 54. In 3 games, playing 37 minutes, he's averaging 50 against this team. There's no reason not to pick Gobert tonight. And then DeAndre Jordan, he's about 40. He's averaging about 40 in the last. So these guys fit the system and they're in good matchups. And that's something that I haven't put enough emphasis on. And I think that's what's been causing me. I've been so strict on the system, but not the matchup. The matchup is important, guys, because regardless how hot a guy is or how consistent he is, if he goes up against a premier defender, he's gonna hit a wall, right? And that's it for this game, I think. Dwight Howard, we kind of went over. So Orlando versus OKC. Initially, I was in love with Westbrook tonight, but I woke up and took a closer look at Westbrook, and what I realized is that the last game where I faded him, his price was only 12.5. So 74.5 is exactly 6 times value for 12.5. Now his point, he's up a whole almost $1,000, right? Which means we need 80 from him. He does have 80 potential, but when he hit it, that's his ceiling for the most part. He's not gonna exceed too much past 80, and I mean, he's put up 80 against his team already, and I think he's gonna have a field goal today. But a part of me feels like this game get out of control early. He gets his triple double, and then he doesn't play coming down the stretch. That's a big option as well. Um, Orlando really sucks, and the recent games that's been good have been against good teams. Dallas is a good team. Um, Houston is a good team, but Philly is not a good team. And for example, he got his triple double in Philly, but he settled at 58.75 and only got 28 minutes. Okay, same thing could be said in Sacramento. He didn't even get his triple double, but he played big minutes, only got 61. Let's look at another game where he got. So again, Toronto, they blew them out. He got his triple double, only played 28 minutes. 68 is going to be disappointing for us tonight. He's on the road, so maybe he won't. I think I don't bank on blowouts, but if I'm gonna pick the highest price player for the night in a game that can be a blowout, just didn't sit well with me, man. I slept on it. I woke up. I am fading Russell Westbrook 2 games in a row. Um, the defense, and we know that teams have been blown by Orlando recently, so they're not that good for a point guard point of view. But let those guys chase Russell. I know he does good in most days, and most days I want to play him, but just today, it's not sitting well with me. I'm being honest. Victor Oladipo needs mid 30s. He's consistently in the 30s. In 30 minutes, he only put up 17 against his team. For 6K, I'm not really interested. Roberson needs about 20. He doesn't really get there quite a bit. Taj Gibson needs mid 20s. He does that on his best night. He's a defensive force. He's not called upon for his offense. So, and then Cantor, I really wanted to play tonight. I like him a lot. It's just that with the other centers that I got, I'm just so stuck on those guys that I'm gonna chill off Cantor. All right. On the Orlando side, same could be said for Vucevic. That could be said for Cantor. Vucevic is just a guy I try to target most nights. His price is a little bit up, but he's gonna get you at least 5 times value, and he can hit 6 times for that price. But love my centers already. Alfred Payton is in a good spot right here, man. He already dropped a 50 bomb against this team. Um, for his price, he just needs low 40s. He's consistent around the low 40s. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of pick on him briefly. Pick on some Alfred Payton and pivot off of Russell Westbrook lightly for a little bit. Love the spot to Alfred, and we know that he's gonna get steals because Russell Westbrook has a lot of turnovers. And if this game stays close, I rather at least if it's a blowout, Alfred will still get enough run to get 5 time value for this price, which has pretty much been his floor. And at home, he seems to play worse at home when he splits, but against Russell Westbrook, the last time he got 2 steals. My point exactly. Okay, um, I think Westbrook's energy is gonna bring him some energy. He's gonna get amped up. He's it's like when you watch as a point guard going against Russell Westbrook, and especially when you're young like that, and you seeing what this guy is doing, you're like, if he can do that, why can't I do that? And it kind of motivates you to want to do the same thing that the opposition is doing. So I kind of Peyton wasn't on my radar, but as I'm kind of looking at things, and in a game that he shows that he can be successful, he took 19 shots that game. He's been taking fewer shots recently, but he's making them. He's driving. He just put up a triple double 2 games ago against Detroit, which plays pretty well and slow. And then against Toronto, another 40 bomb. So I think we can get some 40 bomb out of him. And he's not locked into my lineup, but he's someone I want to consider so far. Um, Fournier needs about 30, and he will get you close to that most nights. He's someone else that I'm going to consider some Fournier as well. It's just that Oladipo defense. If I'm going to consider defense against a position, in 36 minutes he put up 31, which is what we want from him. And I want to just do some further research and see Magic versus Thunder. I want to see who played that game because I'm surprised that he put up 30, and they won that game. So it was a high scoring game. It stayed close and they won. think of Serge Ibaka was in doing a revenge game, and he had a big game when he was still in Orlando. I think that's the terms where I would like to. Exactly, I'm right. Serge Ibaka in a revenge game went off and saved Orlando. Serge Ibaka is not there to save them anymore, so it's gonna be a different dynamic. I think a different dynamic. So Fournier is in play a little bit. I don't mind. And if I'm gonna pick some big names and get two solid options on the same team, I think that's a good idea for me. I don't know if Fournier is locked in, but I like how the lineup is looking so far. I love it. Now, still got 5K per player, so this is shaping out to be all right. Terrence Ross needs about 30 as well. He's averaging about that much since Jeff Green's been out. Again, he's gonna be going up against Roberson and Oladipo, so I'm a little bit worried about that. But because of his recent consistency, I'll consider him briefly. Um, and then Aaron Gordon and Vucevic. Aaron Gordon needs about 30 as well. He hasn't been getting to it. I'm not even gonna consider him. All right, moving on. Charlotte. Charlotte versus Toronto. Both of these teams played last night. I'm really not really interested in too much in this game, to be honest. Kemba Walker needs mid 40s. He's been in the 30s, 40s, 50, 30s. So he's up and down. We know that this is a premier matchup for him, but for 7,800, I mean, the only option we have, we can pay up from Alfred Payton and get Kemba Walker. But on a back-to-back traveling, just not too excited about it. And Toronto's been playing very good defense on the low. I know they give their point guard give up a lot of points, but they play good defense. Okay, Toronto plays very good defense recently. Just to give you an idea, I'll pick someone like DeRozan, right? And we're gonna look at the last couple games they played. So they had Orlando scored 112 points, Dallas only 86, Miami only um, 84. The Chicago game was on TV. Indiana 91, Detroit 75, OKC. Westbrook is a different. So they haven't been playing teams. Atlanta 99, but Atlanta is struggling. So I mean, Charlotte's not. I just don't know. I don't know about going up from Peyton to Kemba Walker. Kemba Walker is very unreliable. We need about mid 40s from him, and he can get you into the low 30s a lot, and even a 13-point game. Alfred Payton, his lowest point total in the last 10 was what, 27. So I feel just safer. I feel safer, and it's cheaper, and it's a better matchup, I think, for Payton going up against Westbrook. Um, Batum disappointed last night big time. I'm not even going there. He's way too up and down. Bellinelli, I guess he got a cut above his right eye. If Bellinelli is out, man, I like Jeremy Lamb. It's just that the thing with Jeremy Lamb is he's very inconsistent. But if you like last night he got 20, he's good for about a point per minute most nights. And against Charlotte in 11 minutes, 8 points. Hey, I don't know. Even if Bellinelli's, I'm not gonna mess around. I'm too balanced and well rostered tonight to mess around with these bench guys. Okay. And then Marvin Williams, he just dropped 18, but before that 30, 30, and then 20. Not too excited. Not for 6K at least. Frank Kaminsky seeming to come to form 30, 22, and 12. Not interested. And then Cody Zeller last night, he could have saved me. He could have won me so much money. After three consecutive games and 4 out of 5 in the 30s, he went down to 14 in a good matchup too. So that's why I don't like picking on Milwaukee. You just don't know. Sometimes it looks like a good matchup. Sometimes it's really not, man. So be careful. On the Toronto side, Corey Joseph has been hot and cold. He can go from 40 to 20 to 14 to 22 to 30. So I'm going to use caution. Delon Wright's been solid, man. He's a good bargain guy if you want to save some money off the bench. But we just need 20 from him. The way I'm balanced on my roster right now from fading Russell Westbrook, I don't think I have to get that desperate to go on the bench with Delon Wright. So I'm going to stay away. DeRozan needs about upper 40s, 50s. 42, 33, 53, 68. All right. Against this team playing 32 minutes, 30. Charlotte's style of play is not going to allow DeRozan to go too crazy tomorrow. At least I don't think so. So for 80 something dollars, if I'm going to fade Russell, I'm not going to go handicap my lineup to force DeRozan in. But He's the player of the month for the Eastern Conference or the week or whatever have you. He's hot, man. He's playing very well. He's carrying his team on this 7 game win streak. He's at home. There's a lot of reasons to like him, but I'm just going to use caution. PJ Tucker, same could be said. If Damari Carroll remains on the bench for tonight's game, he's consistent in the mid 20s. That's what we pretty much need from him. He's going to get the starter minutes. I think I like him a lot as well. It's just, um, and I save some money and go. Well, I don't know if Tucker's going to play, right? So I'm going to get Tucker in because of the consistency and consider him, see how it goes. Power forward, Serge Ibaka needs mid 30s. He hasn't quite been hitting it. And then Valanciunas needs about 30. He just hit 30, but the 2 games before that, 3 games, has been 20, 14, and 13. It's a little bit shaky, guys. A little bit shaky. And that's it for that game. It's a lot of games to cover today, so I'm going to try to move a little quicker. Miami versus New York. Miami's coming off of a back-to-back. They won by the hair on the chinny chin chin last night, guys. A tip in by Hassan Whiteside. We can start with them. Dragic came back to himself yesterday and dropped a 40 bomb. Still wasn't even 6 times value, so I'm still staying away from Dragic. We know that New York is a team that easy to get on, but he's struggling, and that one recent success is not enough for me to start trusting him. Dion Waiters stays out. Josh Richardson needs 30. He's a defender. He's not really getting us that. Wayne Ellington needs his shot to fall. We're not going to get there. James Johnson needs mid 30s. See, the thing is, he plays off the bench, and some nights I don't pick him and he goes off. The nights when like last night, I really considered James Johnson. And if I picked him, I would have been upset. He only got 25. The game before that, 40. The game before that, 30. The game before that, 16. So it's way all over the place for that guy, man. Porzingis is going to foul him a bunch of times and he'll get to the line, but I don't know. Whiteside needs upper 40s. He had 31 in a tough matchup last night. In this better matchup, he already hit 50s. So to look at like Gobert or Whiteside, I'm gonna say Gobert. Um, DeAndre Jordan is $2,000 cheaper, so I really can't afford him. But I love Whiteside tomorrow. Any night I love Whiteside, and then to remember he's on a back-to-back and he's playing with an injured hand, so that has to be played in fact as well. On the New York side, with Carmelo back, D Rose still thrived against Detroit. Okay, him and Carmelo both went and had good games. He put up 43 points. Um, can he repeat that against Miami? It's gonna be very tough, man. Miami plays defense, so I'm gonna stay away. The recent success has been there. 3 out of the last 4 games in the 30s, but the matchup is not there, so I'm gonna chill. Courtney Lee needs upper 20s. He's been there 3 out of the last 4 games. Again, the matchup is not there. I don't really like any Knicks tonight. Carmelo Anthony needs about 40. That price is kind of at Madison Square Garden, not back to back. The last game out, he didn't really do too well, and he hit bare value for that. But I'm using caution with the Knicks right now, man. The Knicks, they're trying to get Lonzo Ball, it looks like, and I hope they do. But Lonzo Ball is hoping that he goes to LA. The Knicks are hoping that he comes to New York. It's all type of craziness. This guy's been very hot, man. He needs mid 40s. He just got into the 40s against Detroit, but 22, 37, 38 is a little scary for that price. I'm gonna use caution. Hernan Gomez has been playing a little better. He needs about 30. We know that we can attack Whiteside with bigs, right? Ugh. Yeah, with those guys playing well, I think Hernan Gomez can do well. It's just that he doesn't do as well with Carmelo in the lineup. That's something I've really noticed. When Carmelo's in the lineup, Hernan Gomez doesn't do as well. So I'm going to use caution and just stay away from Hernan Gomez as well. And then Boston versus Milwaukee. I'm going to stay away from this game again. Milwaukee games, I take a habit of staying away from, okay? To start on the Milwaukee side, Antetokounmpo, I gotta laugh because the guy's good and he's in a good matchup. He should do well. I get it. But he needs about upper 50s and he can get you 30s or 60s. All right, or 40 or 20. So he's way all over the place. If you know me and my station, I don't mess with Antetokounmpo. Just don't. A year or two from now, when he starts performing into the All Star, I don't know why he signed that extension on the Bucks. Man, he should have just chilled. The salary caps are increasing. He could have made millions of dollars more if he would have just played the free agency. He signed the extension, so he's locked in to Milwaukee for a long time. But not really interested. Brogdon just had a big game. He needs 30. He's approaching 30 in three of the last four. I mean, Brogdon's been at bare minimum 5 times value, except for Sacramento. He's been 5 times value, very consistent. He's gonna be in a decent matchup. In 32 minutes, he only put up 20 points against his team. His assist number, so he's pretty much the point guard on this team. Um, it's tough. I'm just gonna stay away. I'm gonna stick to my gut and stay away from this game. Middleton, he's mid 30s. He's been struggling. Teletovic, I like for his price. I always like him as a value play. He needs about 18 to 20. He's had 17 and 15 in the last two. And then Greg Monroe needs about 30. He's been all right, up and down. We know that this is a good matchup for him. He already dropped a 40 bomb against him in 35 minutes. Um, but we don't know about his minutes. And with Jason Kidd messing around, I'm just going to stay away, to be honest. Al Horford, like I said, it was between him and DeAndre Jordan, and I went with DeAndre Jordan because DeAndre Jordan is playing. They're both playing teams that's coming off of a back to back, and they're both at home. I just think DeAndre Jordan has more upside. He not only get me 6 times value, but he can get me 7 or 8 times value for one. And then the Bucks are so weird, man. I don't know. I don't like to mess with them, and I don't like to pick on them. So Kelly Olynyk for 4,200 is interesting. Outside of this 12-point game, he's been in the 20s consistently against this team, and 30. He's good for a point per minute. So if he's gonna get, we just don't know what Kelly. He's coming off the bench. I'm staying away from bench players today. Jay Crowder, I've considered a lot. Again, it's in 38 minutes. He's put up 37. We need mid 30s from him. He's been in the 30s consistently. He's flashing some 40 side upside. His team is doing well. They're number one in the East, so they're gonna play hard to try to keep that spot. Um, Jay Crowder. If it's one Celtic, I'm interested in it. It might could be some Jay Crowder. His floor is just so safe, and he already dropped 37 against his team. He's in the 30s. You know, gonna get rid of Ross and pull over Crowder for the time being. All right, gonna do that. I'm gonna get rid of Ross and pull over Crowder for the time being. I like Crowder a lot. I don't want to pick on Milwaukee though, so I don't know if he's locked. If I see another small forward that I like, but on a night where small forward didn't really stand out to me. Tucker is small forward eligible too, but we don't know what Damari Carroll is doing yet. And I'm not too confident in Tucker, so we're gonna hold on to that thought for now, right? And then Isaiah Tom Avery Bradley needs about mid 30s. He can get you 11 or 33. He got some illness going on, whatever. IT needs upper 40s. 35, 47, 37. He dropped 50 against this team, but I don't know if he'll be able to do that again. I'm just going to use caution. Dallas versus New Orleans. DeMarcus Cousins remains questionable. Now, I'm only in love with I am in love with Anthony Davis tonight, very much so. But only if DeMarcus Cousins is going to be out, of course, right? If DeMarcus Cousins is out, I will do whatever it takes to get Anthony Davis on my lineup tonight. I'm telling you. And as a matter of fact, I'm just going to start preparing it from now. I'm going to get rid of Crowder and Tucker. Throw some Anthony Davis in there. Oh, it's really crippling my lineup. I don't mind getting rid of Fournier, but that's still not good. I love McConnell. Love Ilyasova. I don't love Peyton, That's a heavy price, so there we go. And that's assuming that and I just changed up a lot, a nice balanced lineup. But when these guys are going off for so many points, you got to. Anthony Davis and Gobert, Anthony Davis, he just dropped what, 75? And he dropped 60 in 3 games with no. And it is Dallas that I'm gonna just go back to the lineup that I had, man. I don't know why I just did that. Let's get back our guys. I'm not trying to pay up on this big slate. The other day wasn't a big slate like this, and in a big slate like this, I'm just not willing to pay up for big names when I can have a balanced lineup. So I'm gonna go back to what I had. I don't love Anthony Davis that much to make a mistake and just destroy a good core of players. But if Cousins is out, man, I might do a second lineup where I strongly consider some Anthony Davis. So that's what I'm thinking about. I just gotta wait till the news develop. And speaking of news, let's kind of check it out, right? Let's see what's already have been confirmed. It's 11 o'clock Eastern time. Let's see what news have dropped. So, oh man, they're gonna waive Stuckey. That's tough. Whiteside acknowledges that he's been playing with some pain, so that's you gotta stay away from Whiteside. Middleton got some stitches. He should be in a concussion protocol, but whatever. Harden is going through something. Seth Curry's still questionable. All right, so yeah, we're not gonna go crazy trying to get Anthony Davis, man. That's a mistake that I'm paying. Like that just goes against what I believe in. That honestly. To start on the New Orleans side though, Drew Holiday's been heating up. He needs 40 against Dallas. I just don't see him getting there. Tim Frazier has been starting and he needs about 20. He's up and down. You go from 18 to 27 to 7 to 17. So in a tough matchup against Dallas, I'm just gonna chill. Jordan Crawford needs mid 20s, up and down as well. Um, Solomon Hill needs mid 20s. He'll go from 24 to 12, up and down. Anthony Davis, I love him tonight. It's just that he's very expensive. I can't really fit him into the lineup. So, not this one at least. On the live show, what I'll do is after this show, I'm going to work on another lineup with Anthony Davis with the thought that Cousins is going to be out. And I'll show it. I'll put it on Twitter immediately. And then on the live show, I'll expose it a little bit. But not sure if I'm going to be able to get to Anthony Davis. All right. And then Cousins, if he plays, then I don't want anybody on that team. Dallas side, we don't know what's going on with Seth. Apparently, it was a minor injury. The thing is, this game starts after lock. So unless a word comes out pre-lock, not like the other night when it was after lock and they dropped news, word will have to drop pre-lock that Seth Curry is out, and then that makes me very interested in a 4K Yogi Ferrell, mid-20s. Even when thing plays, Yogi Ferrell is mid-20s anyway. So when he's starting, he's just someone that you just have to get for that price. It's just too cheap. And then Devin Harris, same could be said. Wesley Matthews needs 30. He hasn't really been hitting it. He's been inching closer to it, though. So 21, 23, 25, 28. So he's been increasing in point total game by game. JJ Barea will need mid 20s. I'd rather go Yogi and Devin Harris. Yogi because he'll start and his price is good. And then Devin Harris because he's way cheaper and he had the most points out of all of them in that game. So those are two guys that I'm looking at if Seth Curry is gonna sit. And then Harrison Barnes need mid 30s. He hasn't been getting there. Dirk Nowitzki needs mid 30s. He hasn't been getting there. Noel needs about low 30s. He's been getting there. Two of the last four games in the 20s, one in the teens. Sounds like a lot of up and down. All right. Indiana versus Memphis. Paul George is on a tear right now. And I don't think that stops. They are literally hanging on a playoff spot. It's like state of the emergency for Paul George, all right? In 33 minutes, he was only able to drop 26.8 minutes against this team. But three of his last four games, he's been in the 50s, all right? 50s and 40s, also consistently. It's just that on a back-to-back, traveling from Indiana all the way to Memphis, Tennessee, I'm not going to mess with it. And I think his ownership is going to start going up because of his recent success. And in a bad matchup on a back to back is when I say, yo, I'm going to give it another game or so. I'm definitely going to get on some Paul George with him chasing playoffs positioning, but just not this game. I'm not going to pay 8K for Paul George. I'm not doing that. Jeff Teague's been heating up. He needs just about 40. And he's someone that I like a lot, man. For 6,700. Um, you know, yeah, I can't get him. Even if I wanted him, I couldn't. I'm not gonna get rid of McConnell and his good lineup. I would get rid of Fournier, right? But I'm not gonna get rid of Peyton for Jeff Teague in the matchup that he's in, and then on the back to back and traveling. So I like Jeff Teague. It's just that I'm not able to fit him into this lineup here. Monte Ellis is another guy I like a lot. He's gonna be seeing some Tony Allen. Maybe not. Maybe they'll use Tony Allen and Paul George. I don't know what they're gonna do, but back to back again with the uncertainties. I'm just gonna leave it alone. Um, Lavoy Allen off the bench showed some flashes. 11 and 9 in the last two, but 23 and 28 in the two before that. In 21 minutes against Memphis, he dropped 27.5. So, whatever. And Miles Turner's been super consistent. Um, but I already got my centers down locked. And, I like Miles Turner, but centers that I like better today are like Al Horford and DeAndre Jordan and Gobert. So if you want to pivot away from those guys and get someone solid and consistent, give Miles Turner a look. He's doing okay. Golden State versus San Antonio. Now, what I learned from Cleveland versus San Antonio is, although this is going to be like the game to target, this is the game to avoid, man. It's going to be on TV. It's highly publicized. It's just a trap waiting to happen. All right. Coaches are too smart to let players go wild on these type of games. All right. So let's start with San Antonio. One person that I like a lot is Patty Mills. Again, he's not. If he was two guard eligible, I'll get him in two games that he played this team. He's only played 19 minutes. And he's putting up 31. He just needs mid 20s, and he's in the mid 20s consistently as a backup for Tony Parker. So I'm because he's off the bench, and I'm not going to take out Alfred Payton. Something tells me Alfred Payton's going to show out today for his price. There's not a lot of upside for that price. He might get you into the mid 40s, which is pretty much matching that price. And there's other guys who can get you into the 40s, like Jeff Teague. It's just if Jeff Teague wasn't coming off a back to back, I would definitely sub him out for Alfred Payton. But the back to back factor is real, especially when you have to travel. I'm just a little bit nervous about that. So I'm gonna hold on to Alfred for now. Danny Green and Ginobili needs about 20, and they both can get you that at any given night. It's just a matter of upside. They don't have the upside, and all our players that we have in our lineup have decent upside, except for maybe a Fournier. So Fournier is someone that I might sacrifice. Fournier and Tucker, even Crowder, I'm not really too excited about. But just to finish breaking down the slate, Kawhi Leonard needs 60. He dropped 55. I'm not going there. Not on this game. I was on him in Cleveland. He did very well. It turned into a blowout. He didn't get the minutes. We don't know these big price, big marquee matchup games. I'm not into that tonight. I'm really not into that. Aldridge needs low 40s. Again, he was doing very well, and then they pulled him. He already dropped 50 against this team. Yeah, I'm not big on Aldridge tonight either. I'm not really super excited about Aldridge. But he's a good play. Worth some consideration. I'm just really trying to avoid this chalk matchup that everybody think is the big game of the night. I'm really trying to avoid it. Gasol needs about 30 coming off the bench. I'm just gonna use some caution. On the Golden State side of the ball, Steph Curry's in a good spot right here, man. He needs about 50, and I think he gets it tonight, man. 8.8K Steph Curry, I think, is a little cheap. His price went way down from last night, and last night I would like to say was a tougher matchup. It was an up pace matchup, but we see that San Antonio can play with some pace. They just ran Cleveland out the gym the other day. So if they bring that type of effort for Steph Curry, I don't see why he doesn't get. His shots are falling. You see that he's not shooting as many threes anymore. So half of his shots were threes compared to 12 out of 18, 11 out of 18, 9 out of 14. Now just 11 out of 22 with threes yesterday. He's distributing the ball. He did get into some foul trouble, but Beverly can do that to you. The guy is very annoying. He's been around 50 three of the last 4 games. So Steph Curry in this matchup, I am interested in. There's no way that Tony Parker can hold him. So if you're big on this matchup, which I'm not, Steph Curry is someone to definitely take a shot with today. Klay Thompson, man, the guy could shoot. It's like, what? The thing is, that's all he does is shoot. I mean, he gets peripherals, but last night he was hot. He was hitting out shot after shot, played a lot of minutes, and he only ended up with less than 6 times value for all those shots that he hit. So if he does the same thing again today, it'll be just 6 times value for the most part. 7K Clay, I'm not super excited about it. Matt Barnes, he came and hit 2 big shots when they needed it, but he's not really getting the run needed. 5, 18, and 10 is not what I want. Draymond had a decent game last night. He didn't hit the 6 times value, but tonight on a back-to-back traveling, I'm just going to use caution. But the last game he played, then he put up 55 and 41, 47, and 2 out of the last 4. I think Draymond come out with a lot of energy again tonight, and I don't hate him. I think he's a good player. There's a lot of good plays in this game if you want to stack it. I just don't like these big marquee games. Just like the Houston game last night. Wasn't really a lot of value to get last night in that game. It was just the other games, the Atlanta games. Atlanta, Philly, Phoenix. Those are games that I'm targeting until playoffs, all right? Teams that's playing Atlanta, teams that's playing Philly, teams that's playing Phoenix. And until they fix the price on Richard Hollis Jefferson, I'm targeting him every night. So I'm just telling you guys where my thoughts are. I'm sticking to what's been consistent. These big teams that's already in the playoff, there's not a lot of consistency with those teams. But attack Atlanta, attack Philly, all right? Attack Phoenix. Those are teams that when a decent team goes up against them, you want to attack those games, all right? Utah versus Sacramento. I love Gobert. I already put him in. I already spoke about him. I don't have to stick on that. If Hayward is gonna miss, which I think he might, he's questionable. They're gonna use caution on this guy. I know they're trying to get some position in or whatever. But they're winning without him. I think they're gonna rest him until they lose. They just won against New Orleans without him. Sacramento is a game they should easily win. And that's another reason I like Gobert. I have a strong feeling that Hayward is gonna rest again tonight. The word is not gonna drop until 10:30. Hopefully they drop it after shoot around and do the right thing. But who's to tell with these NBA teams just not doing the right thing? So starting with Utah, if Hayward does sit again, then Rodney Hood becomes interesting for me. He just dropped 30 against New Orleans in 30 minutes. In 32 minutes against his team, he already dropped 38. This is a juicy matchup. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of Fournier and pick on some Rodney Hood off the bat. I think that and even if Hayward does play, I still like Rodney Hood. I like him regardless. He's very inconsistent though, guys, man. His shots have to be falling. His confidence has to be there. And he seems to, the last game that they won, he was home. This game he's away, but he needs mid to upper 20s. I'm really feel like I'm chasing. If the minutes are going to be there, then I feel comfortable. So Hayward would have to be out for me to like Rodney Hood, to be honest. I'm honest. Hayward will have to be out, and let's get back Fournier. I'm not big on Fournier either. Yeah, Hayward would have to be out for me to love Fournier. Now, Ingles is, I feel the same exact way as Hood, but because Hood is cheaper, I'll stick with Hood over Ingles if I pick one out of the two. Joe Johnson, though, man. Another guy. If let me tell you, if Hayward is out, I'm just gonna stack Joe Johnson and Rodney Hood. I might even throw some Ingles in there. A little mini team stack with these big names. I already got Gobert. If Hayward is out, I'm gonna have a field day with Utah, and then but they have to say that he's out before lock. I'm not playing around with this lock stuff. All right. George Hill needs mid 30s. He already did that against his team, but I thought he would have done better against New Orleans, and he didn't. This is the Gobert show, guys. All right, and then on Sacramento, Collison needs upper 20s. He's done that 3 games so far. I'm not a Collison fan. I'm sorry. I'd rather Lawson, and Lawson's been dealing with some knee injuries, so Buddy Hield is worth consideration, but this is a tough matchup for him. So we're not guaranteed that he'll do well. Not really into this Sacramento team. Their bigs are okay. Scal seems to surprise every now and then, but he can go from getting you 4 and 8 to 37 and 23. So we don't know what Scal is up to. And then Carly Stein needs 30. He can get you. Well, he's been more consistent as a power forward. He's good for a point per minute. He's getting minutes in the 30s. And we just see that with no Haywood. I know Gobert's tough, but we just saw Anthony. But Carly Stein is no Anthony Davis. What saved Anthony Davis that game was his perimeter play. Carly Stein doesn't have a perimeter play, okay? So I'm gonna use caution with Carly Stein. I don't think he can do anything close to what Anthony Davis did. I know the minutes are gonna be there, and he's been more consistent for that price, but Gobert is tough, man. He's locking that interior down. Cool folks for that price is too cheap. I think they lowered his price because they've been giving Scal and Carly Stein some more run, which is what worries me. I don't know if they're gonna continue to do that, so I'm gonna chill. Clippers, Washington. Chris Paul needs upper 40s. He's been in the 40s, 20s, 30s. He's all over the place. Austin Rivers now. I guess Reddick. Let's see what's going on with Reddick. He got an ankle injury. If Reddick is out, I'm gonna pick on some Austin Rivers without a doubt. He needs 24. He's good for about a point per minute most time. Half a point, right? So if he gets 30, it's gonna be hard. I don't want to. My lineup is too good looking to start taking risks. So I'm gonna stay away. The only people I like from Clippers are DeAndre Jordan. Blake Griffin is always worth some consideration. He needs upper 40s. This is a good matchup for him, just as it is for DeAndre Jordan. Um, so I like Blake Griffin for that price. And on the Washington side, I can't believe the Lakers made them come back. Well, I can believe it. Lakers sucks. This guy here, man, he's hot. He's hot. But these have been good matchups, right? Chris Paul is not really a matchup that's probably going to give him 60. The Clippers probably slow down the ball a little bit. 60 and 2 back to backs, I would say that he gets cooled down a little bit. And for 10K, if I'm going to pay up 10K, I'll probably go Anthony Davis with the assumption that Cousins is out versus John Wall. So, not quite sure I can get to John Wall for that price. Beal needs mid 40s. He's been in the 20s, man, and I don't know about Beal. Oubre. Oubre's heating up, guys. Oubre's had back-to-back game in the 20s. Against the Lakers and the Cavs, two teams that's kind of struggling. I don't like Oubre. I don't like Oubre. He's a trap, and people are gonna chase him because of that today. Watch. If you're part of my crew, don't chase Oubre, guys. Leave Oubre alone, man. And then Porter's up and down. Markieff Morris is up and down. But someone I like is Jason Smith for the minimal price off the bench. He gets a little bit of run. Mahinmi, another guy I like for the minimum price. Um, he had one game with 2 points and 4 points, so he is risky, but he gets a good amount of run. He could be okay. Gortat for 4K on the right night will pay. And that's the slate, guys. So the lineup is made. It looks like McConnell, Crowder, Ilyasova, Peyton Tucker. I like Crowder. I like Ilyasova. Gobert Payton. I could say Tucker is the one I don't love. Right, I'm stuck between like a bunch of forwards here. Right. Tucker has been playing okay, but I want a guy with upside, and his upside is very limited, man. He's not gonna get you into the 40s and barely into the 30s. So with $200, I'll look to upgrade some Tucker. Keep Rodney Hood. Definitely keep Rodney Hood and upgrade Tucker to it's between Carly Stein, which I don't think is gonna do well. I'll say Terrence Ross, but Terrence Ross don't have the upside either. So I'm going from one guy to another. But Terrence Ross is, and he has a tough matchup too. See if it's anyone else that I've kind of had my eyes on. Not really. Let's see what's the next comfortable play for me. I could say I'm comfortable doing that, right? Yeah, I'm not gonna mess with Paul George tonight, coming off the back to back. Griffin, I like. Porzingis is okay. Cyrus Draymond, I like tonight, man. I think Draymond does very well tonight. I think Draymond is what's gonna keep this team going. All right, I'm gonna make some changes here to this little lineup. I don't want to mess with this team, but I like Draymond tonight, man. I think Draymond is the glue. Nah, I'm gonna stay away. I'm gonna stay away. Aldridge, I'm gonna stay away from that game. Marvin Williams. So McConnell, maybe Ingles with no Ingles. 5K Ingles is very scary. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm gonna leave Tucker. I'm gonna leave Tucker for now because this is the lineup that the system made, right? But it's still early, guys. Okay, it's still early. As the news come out, I'll update the lineup, and during the live show, I have a better lineup. But if I can predict what we do, I think McConnell is 40 today. So 40, 30, 70, right? And then 35 is 105. I think this guy's going to hit 40. 145. He's going to hit 50. 195. He's going to hit 45. 235. He's going to have 30. 25. So it's 260. Jordan have about 45. So we're looking at a 300-point night, man. I see a 300-point line in this. And then we're going to make adjustments when the injury news becomes final. So this is the lineup so far. Play it with confidence, guys.